My first guest this evening, you all know. He's been with us often over the years. He's a terrific actor. His newest motion picture is called Cassandra Crossing, and it's being released, I think, all over the country at the same time, right about now. Would you welcome Mr. Richard Harris? You have been knighted. Would you like to be knighted? Would you like to be knighted?
I can't be.
You're Irish. You're Irish.
Yeah, I can't be, no.
What does that mean in England?
I can't be knighted by the Queen.
Right. I thought she could knight anybody.
I've met a lot of queens in my life, but not that one.
But they weren't knighted, yeah. Why can't you, why couldn't you? You can't be unless you're English.
No, that's it, yeah. I turned it down, actually, strangely enough.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why?
I turned it, a lot of people have turned it down. I turned it down because I thought, well, it's an insult to my race. To the Irish,
What would be a similar honor in Ireland? Do they have something like that where they make you
a weekend booze on the government? All expenses paid by the president?
How you been? You're looking well, because I know a few months ago, when Annie was here, you were undergoing a lot of something.
Oh, yeah, I really had it. You know, every actor's ambition is to work with Ingmar Bergman.
Right.
And I certainly got a chance to work with Bergman, and some strange, sneaky virus entered my system and stayed there for 3 months. Couldn't get rid of it, did everything. I even broke the booze. I went back, maybe that'll kill it. I said, Richard, this is what's happened to you. You went off the drink for 2 years, and a virus infects you. So why don't you kill it? So I took a few drinks, and hit a few bars, did that, and now it still stay there. So I missed the picture.
That's too bad. Why do actors particularly want to work with Bergman? Because he's innovative, he's...
Oh, I think he's the really best. And it was his first picture in English, too.
Right.
And he really is the best. And for an actor, you know, that has serious ambitions, then I think to work with him is kind of the ultimate.
Yeah.
The really ultimate. And I missed it. I blew it. It'll never happen again. And
how do you know it'll never happen
again?
Funny if he wants to. He wants you. Obviously, he's going to come back and say, Richard, I'm going to do a picture and still want you to do it.
Oh, I'd love it. I'd love it. But you know, it's a funny story, even meeting him, because I was doing a movie in a motor called Orca, and I got this letter from him saying he wanted me to do a picture, and would I fly to Munich to see him? So I said, fine. They send a Learjet, right? And they flew me to Munich. And Bergman, at that particular time, had just received the biggest prize, the Goethe Prize in Germany, for his work in the cinema. And he's a very shy man. I didn't know that at the time. When I arrived in Munich, in typical Harris, of course, he was staying in the same hotel as me. And I arrived, makeup still on, off the set, onto a private plane, landed in Munich, went to the hotel, expected to meet Bergman. Straight away, I got a message, he'll see me tomorrow, 1 o'clock. And I thought, well, God, that's like 18 hours later. I mean, that's kind of insulting. Stupidly, I thought, right? So I hung around all night. He didn't ring up to say, welcome, thank you for coming. I know you just left the set to come and see me from Malta to Munich. And I got terribly paranoid, instead of angry, and I couldn't sleep, and Annie was asleep, and suddenly I went right through the whole night. 8 o'clock the next morning, I said, we're going. I'm going.
So you
I tried to go, but I went down, I got a plane, I flew to London. Then I got a phone call from him. He picked up my private plane, right? Which I didn't pay for, of course. He flew to London. And we met, and it was sort of a marvelous marriage.
Little gamesmanship.
A little gamesmanship, a little pride, a little ego,
call first,
you know, that rubbish.
Look, I got to get this commercial out of the way. We're going to get too far behind time. We'll do this, and we're coming right back. We're back. Yeah. Come here, that applause. Come here, applause.
He's good.
Show business. I'm bonkers tonight.
So am I.
Are you a little bonkers?
This could be a crazy show.
Crazy. I've been seeing a lot of promotion for Cassandra Crossing. A lot of good people in there, in that.
Oh yeah, terrific.
In that motion picture. You and your wife, of course. Right. Annie's in the picture. Bert
Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Sophia Loren. Yeah. Ava Gardner. O.J. Simpson. Martin Sheehan. Lee Strasberg, Lionel Standing. God, it was a terrific cast.
You know, I saw the other night the opening, and David Sheehan was standing there, the critic, who's a pretty, I think, fairly respected guy. I'm pretty honest. He even mentioned you like him. And he said he loved the acting. He was a little tepid on the review, and he was standing right next to you and O.J. Simpson and having to review this picture. Boy, and he's at the party, of course, having the food and the booze, and now he's got to give a critique.
Right, of the picture.
And well, did you... obviously, you weren't thrilled with his critique.
Well, it was so funny, really, because he kind of... I know him well. Yeah. I really respect him, and I like him. I really like him very much. And he said he was there, you see, and he said, well, I'm going to review the picture in front of you and O.J. I said, okay. So I said, well, if it's bad review, very dangerous.
Yes.
So O.J. on one side, me on the other. Pretty tough tackles, right? So he said, well, it's not so good. So I said, go ahead. Let's have a bash and see what it was like. So it was so funny because he began to sweat. He didn't know what was going to happen. I kept whispering, I'm going to smash you in the mouth. O.J.'s going to kill you. He's going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. And he kept sweating, and then he began to mix up his page. I don't know if you saw it or not. He began to mix up his 2 pages, the pages reading the review, and I kept picking up the pages and giving him the review and saying, that's Burt Lancaster's name there.
It's a bad place to do a review.
Yeah,
anyway, the picture is doing very well, isn't it?
Well, what happened really was the picture opened in Japan first.
Right.
And it outgrossed King Kong by over 40%. And then in Hong Kong, as distinct from King Kong.
Right.
It did like...
Hong was his brother. Hong Kong, yes.
It did like $4.5 million in 30 days in 3 cinemas. Sweden was huge, right. And Italy was huge.
The New York critics liked it better than the
New York
LA critics.
Now, Rex Reed, my old friend. Hello, Rex. I love you. I really do. Rex Reed, for the first time since 1967, has really raved about a picture I was in. He doesn't like me at all.
Really?
But he raved about the picture.
Why doesn't he like you?
You ought to talk about it in the show.
Oh, I see. Okay.
No, but anyway, he raved about the picture, but the critics here were sort of lukewarm about the picture.
Yeah. It has to do, from what I've seen, I have not seen the picture, obviously some kind of a plague or a germ gets loose on this train, and you cannot take it to where it's supposed to go.
It's absolutely it's an incredible picture. You know, the David Sheehan said, it's Poseidon adventure on wheels, who needs another? Well, everybody does. Obviously, the rest of the world does. Yeah. And so it's an excitement picture, it's an adventure story. And it really has to do, you're going to show a clip in a minute.
We're going to show a clip. I don't think you're in this clip, and I don't think Ann is in this clip.
I'm not, but I'm going to tell you, can I set it up?
Sure.
It's a marvelous clip. It's a marvelous clip. And I want to tell you the funniest story ever after you see the clip. The thing is that there's germ warfare, right? And in the health organization in Geneva, they're developing a germ for germ warfare. And these 2 anti-war guys break in to blow the place up, and they're infected with the germ. One is killed and one escapes on the Transcontinental Express with all these, people, all the names that you've mentioned on board. And he spreads the infection, a kind of plague throughout the train.
If I was going to spread it, I think Sophia Loren would be my first choice. Just sorry to interrupt.
No.
I
know. I get you, Johnny.
Yeah, okay.
You're right. Okay.
Anyway.
And so they discover he's on the train, and everybody aboard the train is exposed to the infection. So no country in Europe will allow the train to stop there because they have found out about it. So they close it off like a concentration camp. They stop in one place in Germany. They rack the windows off with steel. They won't let anybody leave the train, and they're going to take it to a disused concentration camp in Poland. And it has to cross a bridge called the Cassandra Bridge. Right. And we know from 1945, from the story, that the bridge won't take the weight of the train.
Don't tell us how it comes out.
That's it. It's dynamite. It's really dynamite.
You like the picture, huh?
Oh, I got 10% of it, so
Oh, you got a piece of the action. You better be dynamite. Okay. Let's watch the monitors. Here's a little film excerpt from Cassandra Crossing.
And this is so exciting.
It's exciting. We know.
Look out, please! Breathe in.
That's, I promise you, that's like 5% of the excitement
Crazy
of the
photography.
picture.
Crazy
The
photography.
guy, George
What's the story with the dog you're
Pancasmanis.
talking about?
I tell you, the story is incredible because in the script, you see, I was supposed to pick that dog up. The dog gets infected first, and he gets infected second. Not by the dog, I want to tell you. Stop that. Don't laugh. So anyway, the thing is, the dog gets infected. We got to put the dog onto the helicopter, bring it back to the hospital to see, can they cure it? Can they stop this sort of plague, from spreading? So anyway, I was supposed to pick up the dog, right, and put him into the thing, with the helicopter to take it away. So I came on the set early in the morning, and the trainer of the dog is there. And I said, I'm not a coward, which I am. And I said, would this dog bite? Will he bite? I mean, is he okay? And he said, no. He said, but he'll piddle over you. I swear, he's so nervous.
Well, a big cast, and that's
So
what the
yeah, I
dog's
got it.
nervous.
So I said, oh, I'm not going to do this scene. So I turned to the actor, Lionel Stander, and I said, Lionel, listen. I've got so much action in this picture to do. I'm firing guns, and I'm jumping off trains, and I'm falling over this, and I'm saving people's lives. I said, you don't have much to do in the picture. Why don't you pick up the dog, right?
Oh, benevolent man that you are.
Lionel didn't know anything, right? Action, take one. Lionel picks up the dog shoots over Lionel's face. I tell you. And he's hitting Sophia, and he's hitting me, and it's the funniest thing ever. Every time he picked the dog up, 15 takes later, Lionel is drowning, right? Who's got an endless flow, I gotta tell you. It's so funny.
And he finally caught on.
He put it on. That
Great
thing, and it goes up.
humanitarian that you are. Andrew Kell, Richard's wife, will be out and join us in a moment. We also have Buck Henry, we have David Horowitz, and who am I leaving out? Mary McGregor. We'll be right back after this.